Hello, PCP fans. I am XII of IYHWrestling.com, In Your Head Wrestling Radio, with a tremendous edition of Spec Commentaries. That's right, the 12th edition of Spec Commentaries is here, this time focusing on the WWE Network. It's been a hot topic in the world of professional wrestling over the last several months, and especially over the last several weeks, considering the news that has come out with the WWE Network, which I will get to very, very shortly. But before I dive into this discussion, I would like to say thanks to all the fine folks of IYHWrestling.com, you know, Jack and 1 Inch Biceps from IYHWrestling.com, the host of the show In Your Head Wrestling Radio every Wednesday night at 8:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, have been absolutely fantastic in terms of the support that they have given me in terms of this initiative, Spec Commentaries, and also the additional shows that I do feature on the site. Tyler, the webmaster, cannot say enough positive things about him for keeping the site afloat, and just all the fans, all the a lot of friends that I've made over there in IYHWrestling.com. Thank you very much for your support. I could not be doing this without the feedback that I have received from you, and also from several people out there on YouTube who have commented and subscribed to my YouTube page, and also who have become fans of B-Spec Productions, www.facebook.com/bspecprod. But enough of the awesome banter by me of giving the support from the fans. I do appreciate it, but I know you came here for the WWE Network, and I'm going to get right to it right now. The WWE Network has been the brainchild, I should say, for Vince McMahon and several people in the WWE who have inspired to have this network debut on cable and satellite television for quite some time. It has been reported for several years that Vince has wanted his own network, but didn't necessarily have the finances and want to finance his money in order to do it. And eventually, I guess after several meetings, perhaps business deals and negotiations or whatnot, the network finally came to fruition in terms of finally beginning to start it. In 2000 and let's just say 2011 is when it was first announced, and possibly around 2009 and 2010 is when the idea was finally conceived to go forward with it, and let's get this ball rolling. And it basically began with the WWE conducting a survey in which they asked people would they pay $7 and $12 per month for the WWE Network. Now, in order for that to happen, of course, you'll have to include that with several sports packages, such as additional independent networks, such as the NFL Network, the NBA TV, NHL Network, NBL Network, and also Fuel TV, for example. Now, that in itself seems pretty cool on the surface. $7 to $12. That's pretty much similar to what you pay for WWE Classics /24/7, which is a phenomenal service. I mean, I've been a member since 2007 of that, and since its inception, and I have to say that it's an awesome network. And if you've never subscribed to it and you are a fan, I highly recommend you doing it if your cable company carries it. And that's one of the problems with the network that I have right there. And that's one of the bits and pieces of news I wanted to share right now. According to sources from the New York Post, the WWE is having a lot of trouble. So much trouble that they have postponed the start date of the network. It was originally supposed to start in April 2012, the day of WrestleMania. And unfortunately, because the WWE is having a lot of trouble getting advertisers and also getting cable companies, to pick up the the WWE Network. They are extending it from April 2012 to November 2012. Now, the WWE has found themselves in a very interesting conundrum here, but it's a conundrum that is not surprising, at least when you consider the fact that WWE Network is a niche product, and they have yet to really sell to all of their key publics, whether that be the fans themselves that would pay for the service, the advertisers who would put money into for the service to promote their products, and also the networks, the cable companies themselves who would carry the service. I don't think the WWE has done a good job whatsoever of selling the network to those key publics. And what I mean by selling is, basically, in a nutshell, convince them that this network has a long shelf life, that it can grow. Now, most networks, regardless if it's a very small niche product or if it's a huge conglomerate, they have trouble making money at first. This has happened to so many networks in the past, where the cable companies and also the advertisers invest in the product, but the product loses money considerably for the simple fact that they don't have enough viewership, they can't maintain an audience, and they're still growing. They're in the growth portion of their development as a network. And that's why I didn't get so much on the Oprah Winfrey Network when that started. There's been so many reports of Oprah losing so much money from her network, but you got to give it time to build. But it's only going to build by your actions and your efforts to help make it build. And I'm not sure if the WWE can do that, but it is a risk, in my opinion, that's probably worth taking if they have everything settled in terms of their financial situation, and also realizing the fact that the network is probably going to struggle initially. But it doesn't help matters when they're pushing things back as they have with this network. And that brings up a red flag with the WWE in terms of it. Now, the biggest beef that I have with the company is the fact that the WWE had the nerve to promote this so much to the point where they had advertisements on their WWE programming, SmackDown and Raw, Superstars Online, social media, whatnot, and the messages went viral with the network in terms of responses, yet only to continue to push this back. And it makes it out to seem that the WWE doesn't have its act together whatsoever. There were several advertisements about this network beginning in April, and yet they push it back a month before it's supposed to debut. Makes you wonder if they really got all their stuff together. There are some interesting facts about the network, is that the WWE took a loan out, a credit loan, essentially to help finance the formation of the network itself. And it's basically a full line of credit that the WWE can use, like spending a credit card or whatnot, and try to finance this network, and then eventually being able to pay back that credit loan. That makes you think. It reminds me a whole lot of the XFL, Vince's other challenge or so-called endeavor that he decided to partake in 2001 before that went belly up. But now we're talking about a network, and that's a completely different story. That's a completely different animal than a company in itself. But they have similarities as well. But the WWE Network, they're having a very tough time selling the content of what that network is going to partake in. There's been reports already that the network will include a Legends show in which all these legends will live together, and it's basically a Legends reality show based on Legends, which sounds like a freaking cool idea. All of these different legends such as the Iron Sheik, Hillbilly Jim, Tony Atlas, to name a few, Roddy Piper, possibly even Jimmy Hart, from what I've heard. All these legends in the house living together, and you'll be able to see everything that they're doing on a daily basis. I think that's a pretty cool idea. I also think the WWE should use their business, their creative model with WWE Classics on demand / 24/7, formerly known as 24/7, and incorporate that with the WWE Network. I've heard, several reports from Wrestling Observer and several other top, PW Torch, top wrestling sites, news sites that have reported that the WWE has expanded its the original plan from of the WWE Network's program content from just that Legend show into possibly having a show with Scott Stanford on it, who I'm a huge fan, a commentator / broadcaster for WWE on their SmackDown show online. I'm sorry, not SmackDown, but Superstar show online. Of him possibly having his own show, kind of like in a TNT Tuesday Night Titans format of the mid-1980s with Vince McMahon and Lord Alfred Hayes. And eventually hosted by Mean Gene Okerlund when Vince stepped down. But I think that that could work. A lot of reality-based stuff works, but I think that they should really focus on a lot of their library content that they do have that they seldomly use. They have a lot of pay-per-views that they can show on a regular basis. They also have a lot of content from their original programming, such as WWE, SmackDown, and Raw, Superstars, Velocity, Heat. The list goes on and on with a lot of stuff that they have in their library. WCW, NWA, World Class Championship Wrestling, Memphis. There's a lot of good stuff that they have that they can use. They just have to figure out how to incorporate that on the network. Build up, make it interactive with the fans through social media or whatnot. Have a lot of, different forums in which wrestling fans can actually discuss the ideas that you can incorporate into the network. I think there's a lot of stuff that they can do in terms of gaining feedback from the consumers and also from potential advertisers who want to possibly invest into the network. But the real seller is going to be whether or not they're going to convince cable companies like a Time Warner Cable or like a Cox Communications to invest into their product and put another network onto their system. And that's a very tough thing to do, even if you have a lot of cash to do it. And Lord knows that Oprah had her money, but yet it took her a long time to get a network funded. To get a network on the ground, and even funded for that matter too. So the WWE is in a conundrum right now. They have a lot of issues with their network. The fact that it's being pushed back isn't a good idea whatsoever. They have a logo present. They seem to have some programming down packed. But the question will remain, is this network fool's gold? Do you have enough programming to make it work? Is it trying to use the words right here, is this network interesting and entertaining enough that the everyday Joe will start flipping channels and see that the WWE has its own network and they're showcasing something from a Legends reality house show? Will they tune in to watch if they're not a huge wrestling fan or not a fan at all? What I would say to the WWE is, look at your target audience a lot clearer. Understand that what you're marketing right now, you can't cater to one demographic. But what you have to do is to have enough program that you can reach several key people of the demographic that watches your programming on a regular basis. And how can I keep that person entertained enough to want to subscribe to that network in a sports package, but also want to sit down, for 2 to 3 hours in a day to check out your programming. And I'm not sure all of the statistics, but I'm pretty sure if you maybe Google this up, or if you look at it or you read books or whatnot on correlation to ratings and also media consumerization, I'm pretty sure that the people that watch cable or satellite will watch the same channel pretty much every week. And the WWE Network has to be something like that. It's clear that several sports fans like pro wrestling, and it's also clear that several sports fans who like other sports, like myself, will tune into WWE, but will tune into other sports channels. I am a frequent watcher, I should say, observer of MLB Network, and also NFL Network, and occasionally I'll watch the NHL Network, and I'll always watch ESPN. So I know, since I'm a huge wrestling fan, that I'll watch that network. The key is alright, how can I develop key relationships with these other networks so that my programming can expand, whether that's through advertising, whether that's through other mass communication initiatives. How can I get this on the ground? I don't think the WWE, to me, is trying to sell this network as an entertainment network to these cable companies, and that's a mistake. They should be trying to sell it as a sports entertainment network, as something as a network that's going to show a variety of elements of our own product that correlate to the other sports networks that we see. Another example of the sports networks trying so hard to produce more programming is like ESPN doing their documentaries with 30 for 30, or whether it's the MLB Network showing baseball videos, baseball movies, and also documentaries like the Ken Burns baseball that they do every summer. And also during the off season in the winter and spring. And there's no excuse to me that the WWE can't create original programming like that. Show No Holds Barred, show Body Slam, the movies, show The Marine, or all these other movies that you have in your possession. But whatever you do, don't show, boring programming over and over again that's so repetitive, like reruns of Raw and stuff like that for like 4 hours. No one wants to see that. But I think the biggest reason to me, there's 3 big reasons why WWE is struggling with this network idea. They're not selling their network properly, which basically means that they're not selling their ideas, or they are lacking ideas to begin with. 2, financially, I don't think the WWE is ready yet to start this network, and it's quite clear. And 3, WWE has to change its perception of being just an entertainment commodity and being a professional wrestling company that is involved in sports entertainment. If they do that, I think this network can be a success in the long term, for the simple fact that WWE Classics on Demand has survived longer than anybody probably thought it would, for well over 5 years now. And that's a testament to the programming that they have, and they're not even remotely using the amount of footage that they have in their library. WWE Network can work. It can work, but the WWE has to change the way it's going about marketing the network, and also convincing key publics that this network can survive. And they're not doing a good job of that, clearly, because if they did, this network probably would have started in April or May. The fact it went from April to November is a huge red flag, and I hope the WWE can correct some of the mistakes that they have made and turn this network into something that can be really good on the short and long-term basis, but with the understanding that you're probably going to lose some money at the beginning because you're just starting a network. It's really no different, folks, from starting a new company. You're going to lose some money, most likely, at the beginning. It usually happens with everybody. But at the end, let's see what you can do. But as it matures and grows, let's see how it turns out. And that's going to ultimately be either the success or the downfall of this network. And right now, it may be dead even before it begins. And I hope that's not the case. But these are signs that the WWE has to get their act together. Well, thanks, everybody. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns with the show or with this topic itself, you want to express your opinions, either do so here on YouTube.com or BSpec Productions, my Facebook page, www.facebook.com/BSpecProd, to leave your comments and questions and your concerns, and also any suggestions that you do have for me to discuss another topic in the world of professional wrestling or outside of professional wrestling in the sports realm. And I'm also going to be talking about this in more great detail on ROHWrestling.com on its message board. Just go to www.ROHWrestling.com and look for the description link to the message board on the top right hand of the website. Everybody, thank you very much for tuning in to Spec Commentaries number 12 audio edition, podcast style. I am XII, and I hope you all have a wonderful day, whatever day this is for you. Peace out, peeps, and I'm out of here.